So she sees this big, fat, juicy target walk in her deli in her late 20s, this high roller who has a wandering eye. And she confesses to friends, quote, Remus is a good guy. I'm going to roll him for his role. I'll get his dough, even if I have to marry him, though I don't want to. I'm going to nick him. She also said that she would coach him and show him how to make more. That's from one of the books on him.
It's just kind of amazing because this guy that works everyone else is going to get outworked by a woman.
Question for you.
Shoot.
Did you have to read The Great Gatsby in high school?
I didn't know that was an option. I thought everyone read it.
Oh.
Back in the day.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, I didn't know it was a book.
Oh. Didn't everyone have to read it in 8th grade in the early aughts? I mean, now it's probably banned. But
right. For it has too many skirts
times.
and jazz music in it. It's just too
it's too family values.
DEI. Yeah. Whatever catchphrase you're using now for this. No, it's I remember reading it, I think in junior year of high school. And I just had to read it. Did you have to? I mean,
yeah, but I think I read it in like 8th grade.
Okay, no need to boast. I was working my way through The Outsiders.
We were on Hamlet by junior.
San Francisco, huh? This is.
But I will say, I was like, "This is the best shit ever." Like, what's that line at the end? Like, boats beat against the current ceaselessly into the past.
The boats were. He uses a lot of bees.
You know what I'm talking about. That line goes hard.
Boats borne back
into the past.
Into the
God.
Boats of the past.
Yeah. It's exactly the kind of thing that like in middle school or high school you would be like, whoa.
Right. Well, the green light means money and envy.
Whoa.
Bro. Right?
Yeah.
Here's my specific type of sickness.
Okay.
When I read it in high school, it is implied throughout the book that Jay Gatsby is a bootlegger.
You mean when Leonardo DiCaprio, when Leo.
Yeah, he's like a bootlegger or something. But they never show it.
Is that implied? I haven't read it in a really
I know. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You can be excused for thinking, is that implied in it? But yes, it is implied that he is a Prohibition era bootlegger in the 1920s. But because Fitzgerald's writing as if it's all him and his yuppie friends, we don't get anything on that. Except we see one of his gangster buddies at one point, Meyer Wolfsheim, which... Not saying he was an anti-Semite. I'm just saying the guy had...
Meyer Wolfsheim. Sheem. Got it.
And he's a Jewish gangster based on Arnold Rothstein, the famous gangster from that time, who has human teeth as cufflinks on his suit. And they're just
That's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool. It's fucking amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm reading the book and there's like a little scene with him and I go, where's the tooth guy? Go back to
Yeah, can we fuck Jay Gatsby? I want to know more about the tooth.
I don't care about this. Go back to the tooth guy, you know?
Yeah.
Go back to the gangster who's running booze here.
Yeah.
Right? But I feel like the story we're going to talk about today is the real Great Gatsby, which means everyone's kind of ugly.
No Leo here.
There's no Leo. In The Great Gatsby, it's like, oh, everyone in the Midwest is so much better than the East Coast. No, we're in the Midwest. Everyone's a piece of shit. And there's no like...
The glitz and glam isn't quite glitzing.
But it's decadent.
Okay.
It's the same way that, I mean, our story is going to take place in Cincinnati. Are you familiar with Cincinnati chili?
No. Can't say that I am.
It's a wet pasta covered in chili and cheese. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's kind of
the vibe
here, you know, the richness of that, the
As
aroma.
An Italian, which I can say, and you can't, that whole situation's always kind of scared me. I'm like, there's a thing called bolognese.
No. This is Skyline chili.
Skyline. Oh, it's Skyline.
Skyline chili.
When you say Skyline, that's what you mean.
That's what I mean.
I guess because it has beans in it? What's in it?
That is a question science has not yet been able to answer, right? But the point is, we're talking about the skyline chili of Great Gatsby.
Incredible.
Today. And that is George Remus.
Which is also kind of a metaphor for America, right? It's like you think it's Great Gatsby, but it's really skyline chili.
You just blew my mind.
I know. Take a hit of a joint before you listen to this episode.
Whoa, the green light. Whoa. All right.
Sorry. George Remus?
George Remus. That's today's episode. So, who is George Remus?
Even the name, Remus, as opposed to Gatsby.
And that's an interesting point. In the book Great Gatsby, we find out later his real name is James Gatz, which is a German name. Our boy George Remus is a German immigrant, right? And at the time we meet him, the beginning of our tale, our rewrite of the Great Gatsby, obviously, the height of the jazz age and of Prohibition. Let's say, picking a random date, October 6, 1927.
Just random, just totally random.
Just random. Imagine you're one of these up-and-coming types of Americans selling Studebaker automobiles in Cincinnati.
Oh, God.
So October 6, 1927, you're a Studebaker salesman driving along. They don't even make Studebakers anymore. This is how long ago it was. You see a man flag you down. Would you mind, Daniel, showing us the gentleman in question?
Oh,
this
God.
Man is hitching a ride. What do you see when you see this guy?
Sort of a toad, I would say. Toad-esque.
Not a frog, a toad, even worse.
Oh, yeah, toad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
what do
I wish he would embrace how he's balding.
Well, we've talked about this before. Bruce Willis was not a thing yet, right? Die Hard had not come out yet. Well, Die Hard, he still had hair, actually. So later, Bruce Willis, but...
Mr. Clean.
Yul Brynner. Yeah.
There were no archetypes for the hot bald man.
It wasn't happening yet.
I mean, look, he has some riz, as the kids say. He's got some riz.
Bob Hoskins, James Gandolfini.
Yes. I'm seeing it. I'm getting it.
Right. And so this man flags you down for a ride. I'm pulling over. This 300-pound sweating bald man, Toad, I'm pulling over.
In a nice suit?
10 times out of 10, I'm pulling over.
I'm marrying him.
Okay. You do you, Hey, I might marry him. So you pull over, get this guy in the car. First thing you notice, he speaks with a thick German accent and is talking a mile a minute about nothing.
Okay.
Any red flags popping up?
I'm falling more in love as time goes on.
Be still my beating heart, right? He asks to go to the station. So you start driving to the central train station. You get there and he says, I meant the police station.
Oh.
Again, what's the red flag
with that?
Yeah. And then he looks at him and he goes, you don't know who I am, do you?
Oh, God.
Right? Now, how many times a week do we hear that in this crazy town?
I say it constantly. I'm going to say it at Sweetgreen.
You say it at Little Dom's. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And he says, you don't know who I am, do you? And he says, I'm George Remus. And the Studebaker salesman says, and I love this phrase, George Remus of fame?
That is my dream. New life goal unlocked.
Yeah. To have a guy, Alana Levinson of fame?
Oh, right. Not of Twitter?
Yeah. And indeed it is George Remus of fame, the famous bootlegger. And before he gets out of the car, he says, I was in the park and I've been doing some shooting.
Oh, just casually. Could you do that in the park back then?
Maybe ducks, maybe pigeons.
But there was no PETA at the time.
PETA was a glimmer in the eyes of animal lovers at that time.
Yeah.
No, not any animals. We're going to find out what he was shooting in the park.
I can imagine.
But as, the Great Gatsby has some shooting in it. But what I like about this one is our Gatsby does the effing shooting in it, right?
Yeah, he gets it.
He's not getting shot in his pool like a baby, So let's go back. How did we get to this point, right? That George Remus is this famous bootlegger shooting people in parks. It's a good question.
Yeah.
So something I find so interesting, Sherlock Holmes says in one of his stories, and I'm going to pretend he's a real guy. I'm going to talk about him like he's a guy.
Sure.
He says, the worst kind of criminal is a doctor who goes bad. Like that becomes the worst kind of murderer,
Fair. And I've always said, like, the kind of person that becomes a surgeon is like a serial killer for good. I mean, they're the kind of person that enjoys cutting people open.
I think there's something to that. Yeah, no, I think you and Sherlock are kind of vibing on that.
I'm Sherlock Holmes.
That makes me Watson, I guess. So in my Watson-like capacity, I'll add to that and say the best, like, mob boss, organized crime figure is a lawyer who goes bad.
Oh,
you know?
Goes bad. I mean, I feel like all lawyers are kind of bad.
Well, this is what we're saying here,
That's
right?
why I love
a criminal defense attorney with no scruples, who knows the law inside and out.
Oh, God.
That's a good gangster.
That's a good gangster.
Right?
Are you kidding me?
So we go back a little further, go back to a courtroom in Chicago. We're talking World War I era Chicago now. Okay. So really nice. Remus is at this time, he's in his 40s. He is he's a criminal defense attorney.
How did he end up becoming a criminal defense attorney?
A lot of hard work and a lot of soullessness, as we're going to see, because he's defending a guy who's been accused of poisoning his wife. And so what he does, he has a flair for the dramatic in the courtroom. He gets up, he takes the poison with the skull and crossbones on it out of the, it's an exhibit in the trial. He takes it and he says, there's been a lot of talk of poison in this case.
I love that he has the theatrics. He's made for court TV.
This guy was ahead of his time, all right?
I love defense attorneys in that way. Like, they're always sort of actors.
Oh, yeah.
They're so dramatic.
Oh, yeah. They're frustrated.
They're hamming it up.
Look at what the Kardashians bequeathed
exactly.
us.
But even before cameras, they were doing this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and he was doing it in an old, German silent film actor voice or whatever. So he said, there's been a lot of talk of poison in this case.
Oh, poison schmoisen.
Yeah. This is a load of piffle. And then he tilts back the poison and drinks it. Now, this is actual poison. This is not like a gag. This is from the,
well, first of all, you can't just like take the evidence and start messing
Apparently
with it.
You can.
Okay.
So different time.
Okay. Actually, I still think you can, but it's just a little more subtle.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone was expecting anyone to drink the poison in court.
Okay. Fair.
He drinks the poison. Now, I don't know what this proves exactly.
Does he drop down?
He doesn't. He sits down back at the table, and if you're the jury, you're thinking, this guy didn't die. So they go into the jury room and they acquit. His client gets off, right? Now, what Remus didn't mention was that he was originally trained as a pharmacist, looked up the antidote for the poison beforehand, took it,
genius.
And then took the poison.
How can you not love that a little bit?
It's a great gag.
It's really good.
But it speaks to George Remus, his showmanship, his creativity, his intelligence, his total lack of scruples and a moral center.
Yeah, all the good hallmarks of a successful sociopath.
Absolutely. And this is a guy he's really been hustling ever since he got to Chicago as a boy. So he speaks with a German accent, even though he's been in Chicago since a young age. He was born in 1876 in Germany. Father, brutal alcoholic. So he starts working in a pharmacy as a teenager. He's a licensed pharmacist and optometrist by the age of 19.
Wow.
I was, still playing Grand Theft Auto a lot back then at that point. Was not, going through night school to become a lawyer in addition to running
crazy.
2 pharmacies. People were just different back then.
Yeah, they were.
We
must admit. The hustle.
He is he's a strong athlete, actually. He's a strong
the
swimmer.
Toad?
Yeah, like he was really into swimming in Lake Michigan when it was frigid. He set an endurance record for swimming in 1907 in Lake Michigan. So he's a tough guy.
There's sort of a fearlessness,
There's sort of a crazy fearlessness, like he's defending another murder suspect in a trial. It's 2 carnies.
Oh.
Again,
can you, is that
okay to say? Carnival
people.
Let us know. So he's defending a husband and wife carnival duo, carnival personalities, and he gets into a fist fight in the court with the other defense attorney. They're on the same side.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
He's insane.
Got it.
It's that simple,
Yeah,
right?
he's insane.
But he also, look, he's tied up with Clarence Darrow. He's tied up with
Who's that?
Clarence Darrow is the celebrity lawyer of this age,
Okay.
right? Leopold and Loeb and the Scopes Monkey trial, and also like a progressive hero for judicial reform and legal reform and all this. So he's actually kind of woke. And he's tied up with him. He also pioneers in another murder case, the temporary insanity defense, which is going to be important later. He's one of the first to argue his client was in a state of temporary insanity when he murdered his wife in a hotel, and thus is less culpable, which resulted in him getting a shorter prison term that he would have.
That's so crazy that goes back to him.
It absolutely does. So all these strange contradictions, right? But also a very lucrative one. He's making, in today's money, about $700,000 a year by the height, right? But
should have become a defense attorney back then.
I can't think of any other downsides of living back then, right? Other than
I don't think that would have been an option for me, but just
know,
putting that out there.
Yeah. Well, here's an option for you.
Okay.
Now
marry him? I got a crush.
I got a crush on him.
Keep
Okay.
going.
All right. Well, keep that in your pocket because you got competition. Remus is married. Aw. But good news, he's a cheater. He meets a young lady at a deli in Evanston, north of Chicago.
So quaint. A deli.
It's a meet cute.
Yeah, it is a meet cute.
And
over some gabagool, he falls in love.
I don't think gabagool. This guy has a lot of sausages. He has a
sausage Vienna
mindset.
Sausage of Vienna.
So this woman, light of his life, born Augusta Imogene Brown, 1884, Milwaukee.
Is this a Daisy character?
That's Daisy. That's our Daisy. Now, what do you think of our Daisy?
I mean, definitely more realistic, sort of.
Very diplomatic of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, again, this is what I love about this story.
Yeah. Some nice stock. Some nice Midwestern stock.
Daisy's not a real thing. Okay. Let's get rid of Daisy. All right. This is Daisy.
Okay.
All right. She's a lady that you meet at the deli.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
But she captures your imagination.
Well, and in fairness to her, okay, she was, like I said, born in Milwaukee. Her only, as you said, you can't be a criminal defense attorney at this time, right?
Yeah.
Her only escape as a pretty smart cookie was to marry an older grain salesman, which
grain,
even saying that is so boring. It sounds so awful, right? But what she does that's kind of interesting is she gets out of it by going to the press. Her husband's a little prominent, right? This older guy that she's in this arranged marriage with. She gets out of it by...
She's so much more interesting than Daisy.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the other thing.
This is great.
She's way cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, not really. She's a piece of garbage. But everyone is here, you know?
Yeah, it's like,
a fair field and no favor, you know? So she gets out of it by making a big scandal in the press. She's like, my older grain salesman husband is terribly abusive. She drags him through the mud in public.
Is he, though?
I don't know.
Okay.
No one really knows.
Okay. Well,
but, no fault.
Hashtag believe women.
Well, here's the thing. No fault divorce was not a thing back then.
Yeah.
So in order to get out, you had to prove cruelty, which she's able to do by working the press.
Right.
Which is not going to go away, right? Later, she issues a press release saying, giving guidance on how to tame one's husband, saying they, quote, should be treated like pets. So we're getting a little sense of her philosophy here.
Girl boss.
She's girl boss.
Honestly.
Mom boss. Actually, well, we'll get to that. But anyway, so she sees this big, fat, juicy target walk in her deli in her late 20s, this high roller who has a wandering eye. And she confesses to friends, quote, Remus is a good guy. I'm going to roll him for his role. I'll get his dough, even if I have to marry him, though I don't want to. I'm going to nick him. She also said that she would coach him and show him how to make more. That's from one of the books on him.
It's just kind of amazing because this guy that works everyone else is going to get outworked by a woman.
Well, this is the thing. The best target...
We got to be rooting for her.
The best target for a con artist is someone who's like shady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they have a big weakness there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Remus is instantly infatuated with this young woman who wants the nice things in life, the finer things, right? And I love this. This is from a newspaper report in 1927 later. And I'm going to try to read it in the newspaper. Imogene Holmes, newly divorced. That's actually horrible. Was a woman of destiny for brainy George Remus.
A woman of destiny. It was fated.
This is how they used to write in the newspaper.
Yeah.
For her, he must have jewels and motor cars. For her, he must have great houses with many servants,
Wow.
Like, yeah, I like that.
I do like that.
So how's he going to do that? Well, lawyering ain't going to cut it.
No.
Not for the kind of wealth he wants for her. So something big happens in 1919. There is an amendment to the Constitution, the 18th Amendment, and following that, the Volstead Act. George Remus is actually a teetotaler. He doesn't drink at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that because his dad was an alcoholic?
It's probably part of it,
Yeah. But also, we all know the best dealers can't be dipping into their...
Well, this is what he's gonna realize. I mean, it's a big asset to him.
Mm-hmm.
He actually considers himself a very healthy guy. His one indulgence is food, which we'll get to.
Sausage.
But he likes ice cream a lot too. Which
fair.
Who amongst us, So what he doesn't care about prohibition at first, but what happens is the courts start getting clogged up. He's a criminal defense attorney, so he starts getting hired for Volstead Act violations, right? And what's weird is there's very stiff fines for it, like $10,000. And we're talking
a lot back then.
Yeah, 1920, right? And so he pleads out, they're going to do a $10,000 fine. And then this idiot bootlegger he's with says, oh, okay. And he peels the $10,000 out of his wallet. And Remus goes to himself, I'm in the wrong business here.
Yeah.
What am I doing being a lawyer to these guys when I'm 10 times as smart?
Exactly. Like I know how to get off doing it.
That's right. So Remus takes his big bald brain and puts it to the Volstead Act. And here is what he comes up with. And it's a great lesson for anyone wondering about the law, about how Congress passes stuff and how there's all these gaps in it. He assembles all the loopholes into
we see this all day, every day.
I mean, you can only stand back and to a degree give a chef's kiss.
Yeah,
to it.
you really.
It's kind of beautiful what he does, because what he does is this. He realizes, first of all, not all alcohol is exactly illegal. There is still a carve out for the medicinal prescription of alcohol.
Right. Mm-hmm.
At that time, it was thought
medicinal.
If you had a cold, whiskey would somehow help.
Your baby's crying.
That's my dad, our Irish grandparents, when he was sick, we get a
and
nip.
That explains a lot.
It's not about me here.
Okay.
I'm just giving as an example. Another historical figure from that time, one of the co-founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, Dr. Bob Smith, would later say that as a doctor, he had no problem during Prohibition because he could write himself as many prescriptions as he wanted, right? So
it's like weed.
It's a great example.
Yeah.
The era where we had only medical marijuana,
right, that era.
It was a bit like that, right?
And it was the good shit.
Yeah, right. And it was I'm nauseous on roller coaster. Okay, here's your go to Venice. Just go over there. So he realizes, and from his pharmacy background, he knows that the way that it's going to work is there are these things called withdrawal permits. This is going to be the mechanism through which you can legally acquire booze, right? He has experience with pharmacies. He knows if he sets up pharmacies and even fake pharmacies that exist only on paper, they can legally get the withdrawal permits they need to get alcohol. All right, so that explains how he's going to...
gets it.
Right. But he doesn't want to just do that. He wants a monopoly. So
he's the only pharmacy in town.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. He wants to make it that he's the Amazon of bootleg alcohol. Right. So something else is, okay, what kind of alcohol? Right.
Good question.
Now, a lot of the other bootleggers who are doing this, the kind of guys that he defends in court, they're going a bunch of other routes. They're going rot gut.
Moonshine. They're like making it in a bathtub.
And
it's not good. It's not the good shit.
It's hideous. There's no one professional doing it. It's someone's basement where you're throwing them a few bucks to do it for you. It's no good. Another is diverting industrial alcohol, which specifically has chemicals added to it that make it poisonous
Yeah.
and trying to denature it, which means every so often you don't do a good enough job because you're a mindless gangster.
And everyone dies.
Yeah, everyone dies. They go blind, things like that, right? They have nerve damage.
Mhm.
All right, that's another way of doing it. Another way, smuggle it in from Cuba, Canada, the
Right.
UK, right? Now that's great because that's going to be real alcohol, but you have to set up a smuggling operation.
It's complicated. Who wants to,
It's a lot. It's a lot of logistics and
it's
all
a lot
this.
of chances to get caught.
Exactly. And you have to bribe a lot of people. You have to hire a lot of people. It's a lot of work.
I'm really curious what he's going to do.
Here's to me his most brilliant masterstroke. Because the pharmacy stuff, The Great Gatsby, again, the book The Great Gatsby mentions Gatsby has interests in pharmacies. So it makes reference to this. It was well known enough at that time. But here's where he gets really innovative. On the seller side, what happens when Prohibition goes into effect? All these distilleries all over the country have to be locked up. They just have to idle them and go home. So the guys who own them are going broke. They can't legally.
But they know how to make it.
They know how to make it, and they have inventories that are just sitting there. So
it wasn't seized?
It's there's too much of it.
Oh,
We're
that's
talking
true.
cases and cases and cases all across the country. What Remus realizes he can do is buy these distilleries at fire sale prices.
Oh my God.
Now, why are they so cheap? Because no one can legally take the alcohol out of them. But that's why
he can. He's got the pharmacies. Oh, come on. That's good.
Yeah.
And then he has all these. So he's buying the building.
He's buying the building and the inventory in it for pennies on the dollar. Because everyone thinks, well, there's nothing you can do with it.
Yeah, but later he's going to also have the building.
He has the withdrawal permits, and he's doing things like he has more withdrawal permits than all the doctors in the country need for alcohol in a year.
Wow.
In like one trade. You know what I mean?
Suddenly there's going to be a lot of people getting nauseous on roller coasters.
Right. Exactly.
Everyone.
So it all looks legal on paper. And all he has to do is once the alcohol leaves the factories and the distilleries, and incidentally, he can also cheat. He can do a thing called milking where he just sneaks it out, places it with water. But another thing he can do is he buys a fleet of trucks. Each truck can carry 30 grand worth of booze, and he has hundreds of these trucks, right? So he can send them all across the country, send them to depots, and divert them they just disappear. This sea of alcohol, right?
Does your brain work this way?
We've talked about...
I wish I had a little more of this thinking going on.
I've been reading too much about this.
Yeah, you've studied. You're
like, I remember you said to me once, like, you think like these guys, which I was very flattered by. Let me say, first of all,
I think it's like you've studied it enough.
I gotta become a gangster.
You do.
I gotta do what this guy did, which is in 1920, he's got the girl, he's got the business plan.
Oh, he's got it all.
Now he's got to move. He's got to pull a geographic, go to Cincinnati.
Okay.
Why Cincinnati?
For the Skyline Chili.
Obviously, he's a big fat guy. He's going to love the Skyline Chili there, right? But here's a really amazing thing, all right? Remember those smugglers I mentioned who they're bringing him in internationally? Yeah. He's going to have an enormous advantage on them from his new home base because as he says, quote, after surveying the entire country, I picked Cincinnati as my headquarters because 80% of the bonded whiskey in the country was within 300 miles of that city.
Wow.
So bonded whiskey made under, relatively strict government scrutiny, that it's not rot gut.
Mm-hmm.
And Cincinnati's just north of Kentucky, just north of the Bourbon Trail, and Ohio, Indiana. These are also big producers of whiskey. Mm-hmm. So it's right in the heart of that.
Yeah.
And he has a compliant population, people who know how to make whiskey, all these shuttered distilleries. The administration in Cincinnati is Republican, easily corruptible. Cincinnati also, I've never been, looks like a beautiful city, has good transport, has a large German population,
it also seems like it's not rife with mob activity already, right? Like it's not like he's going to some place where there's going to be a turf war.
Huge point. There's no mafia family in Cincinnati, but it's close enough to places like New York, Buffalo, Chicago, he even gets as far as Glendale here in L.A., that he can ship booze there and sell it to local gangsters there, right?
Right.
So guys like Capone or Lucky Luciano in these cities, he's not exactly a competitor to them, but he can sell to them. He's close, but not too close.
Not too close. Is Imogene helping him with this scheme?
Oh, she's up to her neck
mix.
in it, right?
She is in the mix.
Yeah. Within weeks of it, all right, it's hard to put a figure to some of this stuff, right? But within weeks, he has about 9 distilleries. They're worth about $50 million at that point. That's almost $900 million today. So almost $1 billion, right?
It's insane.
He has a piece of the Jack Daniel's distillery in St. Louis, which everyone knows, right? He's making maybe $500 million a year.
How are they not tipped off to this?
They are. Short answer is...
I feel like you're making $900 million. It's not a secret.
When he has he buys this farm on the west side of Cincinnati, Death Valley Farm, that they're working, his depots are working in 3 shifts. They're working 24 hours around the clock. There's no way to do that where bootleggers are showing up from around the country at these places at all hours of the day and not attract attention. But he just bribed everyone. So there's
classic, yeah. Just pay him up.
It's no problem. There's a bug in his offices in the Remus building, which he buys in downtown Cincinnati. And he has these meetings of like 40 people in a boardroom, and among them are Prohibition agents, are
classic
U.S. Marshals, police, and he's telling them what to do, right? And so, these trucks are rolling hundreds of cases of liquor in each of them a day. He has this 50-acre depot, and they're all marching to his tune.
Is he having insane parties?
I'm glad you mentioned that. 2 years into this, by New Year's Eve, 1921, he is he's having the party of the millennium. About 300 guests come to...
Small,
It's an intimate...
Yeah, intimate affair.
Intimate affair. To the Imogene Baths part of his estate.
Oh, God.
His estate is called Marble Hill, which, Marble Hill. And again, Imogene, the show horse of the piece, she dives off a high diving board in a skimpy bathing suit in front of the whole crowd.
Wow.
Show off, Remus says to everyone from the diving board in a tuxedo, all the men have diamond stick pins next to their plates. He cleaned out a jewelry store. It's like custom.
I want to go.
Rich people don't do this anymore.
No, straight up. Where is my diamond stick pin?
Where is... Oh, well, that's
I deserve that for coming to your event.
Oh, hold the phone.
Okay.
That's for the men.
Oh.
For the women, it's look for the key to your new sedan that's parked out front.
Oh, basically he's Oprah.
He is the...
You get a call.
From Chicago. Yeah, right? So Remus says, here's your gifts. Have a great New Year. And then he jumps into the pool in his tuxedo. He's fun.
He is fun.
You're fun, So this is, he's spending $150,000 on a swimming pool in a house that costs $800,000 in 1922.
Whoa.
Right? And he's rolling in the new year in style.
And he calls it the Imogene Baths.
Didn't you name your pool part of the estate for your
Alana
spouse?
Baths.
The Alana Baths, yeah. Now, like you said, police attention was obviously on the rise here. But what he does is he gets protection all the way from the top, all the way from the White House, because the guys in the White House at that time, around the administration of Warren G. Harding, they're all from Ohio too. So they call them the Ohio Gang, in fact.
The Ohio boys.
And this administration, some are calling it the second most corrupt presidential administration in history.
Okay.
Let you guess what the first is.
I have no idea what it might be. Right. None. Zero.
So earlier in that year, in the spring of 1921, Remus had met in New York with a guy named Jess Smith. Jess Smith is a former, I think he worked for a department store, and he's the sycophant for the Attorney General of the United States under Harding. this guy, Harry Doherty. And Jess Smith, he has a little mustache. He's this little creep. And
little rat.
He's a little rat man. And he's there to
There's
be...
a lot of animals in this episode. We got a toad, a rat.
Yeah. What is this, Stuart Little? Okay. But seriously, Jess Smith is the bag man to deliver the bribes, right?
Got it. And the bag man, let's talk about that. That's a term.
It's a term.
For guys that...
He secures the bag.
He secures... Is that where we get that?
Sure.
I love that.
Yeah. So Jess Smith, he's
securing the bag.
He's a ferret scurrying back to DC.
Got it.
He's got the bag. And he gives him a $50,000 bribe to avoid all prosecution, to make sure...
It's honestly so simple. Just pay people off.
It's just
Works
that easy.
every time.
Just that easy, pay him. And even better, though, Jess Smith says, I can also sell you more withdrawal permits.
Oh.
So for $1.50 to $2 per case, which is about 3 gallons of liquor, I'll sell you that. But we're going to do it at scale. So I did some math. That's about, let's say, $500,000 in that time in bribes for the withdrawal permits. That could be anywhere from $6 to $10 million today. The $50,000 bribe is about $800,000 today. And it's for 250,000 cases of whiskey, or 750,000 gallons, which Remus can sell for about $20 million at that time.
See, I just blacked out.
I'm giving you a lot of numbers. Here's the most important one. He could sell this whiskey for about $350 million in today's money.
Whoa.
All right. This is enormous. His long-term plan is to have a publicly traded company, even though alcohol is illegal.
Keep your eyes on the prize, man. He's manifesting.
This is what all the tech guys do.
No, exactly. It's giving Bezos.
Yeah, they just keep breaking the law until it's legal and they're rich and you can't touch them, right?
Yeah, makes sense to me.
So he's doing awesome. He's killing it, bro. 18 states, he's selling, 18 months, he's selling all across the country. He's almost cornered the market. And the problem really is he can't buy everyone. He offers, even though they're poorly paid, this newly founded enforcement arm of the Department of Justice devoted to Prohibition. The state directors get paid like $4,000 a year. He offers them bribes of 100 times that. And they say no. In 2 states, Kentucky and Indiana.
So there actually are some moral people?
Yeah. And the one in Ohio does say yes. So that's good. Wow. But the one in Kentucky says something I find really interesting. Mm-hmm. And it's like the polar opposite. I mean, he's given a $500,000 offer of a bribe. And he's from Kentucky. He says, he's asked later by a journalist, was it hard to turn that down? And he says, quote, why not at all? It doesn't cost me any particular effort, to be honest. We folks down in the country, the Black Pine Mountain country near the Virginia border, are not used to much. And what we ain't got, we get along very comfortably without. Now, I find that very interesting because it's hard to beat that. And it's also a better philosophy for life.
Yeah,
right?
Like I don't really know any different. So no, it's not hard.
Right? I don't need it. And as a result of guys like that and a few honest people in DC, his Death Valley farm is raided in October of 1921. Because he's so immune to prosecution, he thinks.
Yeah, he really shows off.
That's the problem. Like, he moves so fast. There's booze there. There's records there. There's stuff that...
Oh, he's screwed.
He gets convicted at the trial in 1922. But he also didn't fight it that hard because his thinking is...
I'm just going to pay some.
Exactly. I'm going to get pardoned.
Yeah.
Again, where have we seen that before?
Yeah.
So he's waiting for Harding to come through on the pardon. He pays another bribe to Jess Smith. And then, shortly after that second bribe, Jess Smith shoots himself.
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Unclear. Still not sure.
Yeah, still.
Did he shoot himself? Did he not shoot himself? We still don't know to this day. Something even worse happens later that year. Harding dies.
What a coinky dink.
And again, he dies in San Francisco, allegedly of a heart attack or something.
Oh, totally.
Long-standing rumors his wife may have poisoned him. Be that as it may. Now he's actually in trouble.
Yeah.
Things
Because
are
he's
not.
just killing people. Allegedly.
So he's lost his political protection just when he needs them to get him out of this jam here, right?
Oh. So you don't think he killed them?
They were what he was counting on.
Got it.
These other scumbags in DC were probably,
Okay.
worried they were going to squeal, whatever. All that's to say, he's going to prison.
He's fucked.
He's actually going to go. So he's going to go to the Atlanta Penitentiary.
Is he in denial?
He's starting to accept his situation and he doesn't like it, right? So he only has one person he can trust, and that's Imogene.
Trust.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think he can trust her. I'm going to say that.
The woman who said she was going to take his role, take all his dough.
He's her mark, you know?
So he leaves her $5 million worth of withdrawal permits. That's walking around money for when he comes out, He goes into prison June 24th, 1924, reading Dante's Inferno on the train because he's going to hell.
Classic.
Right? He knows there's more cases coming. And so when he gets to Atlanta and the Atlanta Penitentiary, he immediately starts asking around, who do I got to bribe to get out of here? And they mention a Prohibition agent named Franklin Dodge.
Ooh.
Now, what a cop name.
Oh, seriously.
Okay.
How would you define a cop name?
Franklin Dodge, FBI, like
something that sounds good being yelled at as they're illegally raiding your home.
This is the kind of name that they would have given Arnold Schwarzenegger for some reason in an 80s movie.
Yes,
I'm
100%.
Franklin Dodge,
Exactly.
That's not your name, but I love it. So Franklin Dodge, let's talk about the average Prohibition agent. Okay.
Yeah. What's that type, that archetype?
I think it's relevant to some of the things going on today, without getting too specific, of the president, the judiciary, the Congress. They all say, here are the laws that you have to enforce now. But you're not getting any additional funding. You're not getting any more resources. You just have to do an exponentially harder and more thorough job.
Right.
So the result was this Prohibition Bureau is really badly financed. They can offer pay to these Prohibition agents that is pitiful. It's not enough to live on in these cities. So what do you think is going to happen? It's going to attract corrupt guys who want to make a lot of money.
The worst kind of guy.
Yep, shaking down bootleggers.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to attract political flunkies and sycophants who want a position. And it's going to attract incompetence.
Mm-hmm.
And
classic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a classic cocktail.
It's good enough for government work. It really is, right? So Franklin Dodge is from a politically connected family in Michigan. So he's a political sycophant like that. He is wealth seeking. He wants to get rich being a Prohibition agent. But the third thing, the incompetent, he doesn't show at first. He actually works the case of George Remus. He helps cultivate informants around the Death Valley farm. And he's sent by DC and some of the honest people there to go to the Atlanta Penitentiary to make it as uncomfortable as possible for George Remus. Because at first, George Remus is buying favors in prison.
Of course. I'm sure he's doing his exercises in the yard.
He's got it made. He has nice food and good settings and all that. As soon as this guy Dodge shows up in Atlanta, things go to hell. The conditions get worse. He can't buy his way into comfort. So the other bootleggers say, get to Dodge, right? Like, cultivate him. And Imogene's going to help with that. And here's the problem.
Let's get that minx on the case.
Right. Dodge. Well, Dodge is like, you ever hear this saying, never shit a shitter?
No.
Well, you have
But
now.
I think I know what it means.
Right. Dodge is like even more of a con man than either of them.
Wow.
So it's like a con man eating a con man eating a con
human
man.
centipede.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah. And Dodge says, I'm going to seduce Imogene.
Oh, Dodge is seducing.
He's the seducer.
Is he hot? Look,
again,
you know what? Again, this is a different time.
Yeah, he looks like Joe Flaherty, the dad from Freaks and Geeks.
Okay.
Google it later if you don't know. That's how far I had to dig back to come up with someone who looked right. So Dodge seduces Imogene, and his plan is he's going to use her to sell off Remus's empire and get
love
rich,
this.
right? So who's using who? I don't know. But all I know is the second time they meet, Franklin Dodge,
Stups.
yes, in the warden's office or maybe the chaplain's office at the Atlanta Penitentiary.
Wow.
And rumor starts to get around prison. I'm just saying.
Oh, God. Remus isn't happy, is he?
No. So this is...
Oh, she really fucked him, so to speak.
Well,
I mean...
You said it, not me, you know? But here's the thing. Now he's in prison. The conditions are tough. He can't do anything about it. And his wife isn't returning his calls.
And is stooping the guy that's been hired to screw him. I mean, that's really...
So they're going around. They're selling off this distillery for less than $100,000. They're selling off these withdrawal permits for this amount of money, right? Dodge, all right, now they're planning August 1925. They're going to strike because he's getting out. Remus is getting out of prison in September.
And does he have plans? What's he going to do?
He's going to get back in business, baby.
Okay.
He's going to get back to work.
What's he going to do about Imogene?
All right. He still doesn't know. He's just getting alarmed that she's not doing what he wants and needs, right?
She's gone rogue.
She's gone a little rogue, and he's nervous about this, but he still is in the dark to a degree.
Okay.
Right? So they launch a sneak attack, brilliantly executed. August, Dodge quits the Prohibition Bureau. Imogene visits him in prison, right? Acts like, everything's good. They're going to be together.
Remus.
She visits Remus in prison, says everything's going to be good. When he's about to get out of prison, serves in divorce papers, goes to the press, says, he's an abusive bully.
Okay.
He beat me, which maybe is true. But
yeah, with this guy, I mean,
come on, but he is going absolutely crazy now. So when he gets out of prison, he has to go now to serve state charges in Ohio. He doesn't get out till September 1927. And in this time,
he's just stewing this whole time.
I mean, he's losing his fucking mind.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Imogene is saying to her friends, quote, I'll get that guy. I'll either send him to jail again or have him deported, or else I'll kill him and plead self-defense.
Why does she hate him so much?
I think she never liked him.
Yeah. Yeah, but to hate him to that degree.
Well, this is what I love about this story so much, that it's this bad love that is... It's just these strong emotions.
It's this toxic stew.
It's so she resents it. She resented him from the beginning because she wanted the money. Yeah. She wanted to get it. But also, this was her only path to do it. And she had to put up with his insanity. And now she has this guy that she actually does love.
Oh, you think so? Really?
But she doesn't know that Dodge doesn't care about her at all, So it's just who's fooling who.
Oh, it's amazing.
This is
Hollywood, are you listening?
I mean, we're not standing on a dock here, folks. Okay, we're not sad on Long Island.
Yeah, this is so much better than the Great Gatsby.
This is real, man. Yeah. This is emotions, and they're gonna kill each other. Someone's gonna kill somebody here. And on the one hand, Dodge and her hire a hitman for $15,000 to go and kill Remus. Remus gets out of prison, goes back to Marble Hill. The house is a ruin. The doors are shut up. His suits have rotted in the closets. And he thinks, I'm going to kill them.
Oh, okay.
Well, so it's just a question.
I mean, what does he have to lose?
He's fucked.
He's so fucked.
His empire is in total disarray.
Okay.
Imogene's trying to get him deported.
Did he really love her? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way,
He's a lover scorned.
Yeah. I mean... But it's getting so messy. You ever have a messy breakup? It's so...
No, never.
No, me neither. It's getting so ugly. I'm just saying I know people do.
Yeah, allegedly.
So Remus is going to testify against her at the Jack Daniels trial. Then she gets dropped from the case.
It's really toxic.
He stakes out a hotel they're staying at and beats the shit out of Dodge with a cane.
Wait, but so Dodge is keeping up this ruse. He's quit, but he's still keeping it up because he's going to get more money.
Yeah, he's in the relationship with her because he wants to suck it dry, right?
Yeah.
And so, people are noticing he's starting to go insane, Remus is. And Remus says, quote, Dodge is taking everything that is most precious to me, my darling little wife. He has ruined me forever. And Imogene retorts through her divorce attorney, I'm better than Remus and he knows it, which leads to Remus trying to throw her divorce attorney out a window. True story. True story.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting
Suge Knight. You know,
getting vibes of Suge Knight here.
You know where Suge Knight got it? George Remus.
Wow.
The connections.
Well,
the connections.
Suge Knight's endgame involved a car chase, as we know.
Okay.
So does George Remus's, because they finally fix a divorce date. They're still not divorced yet, right? They fix a divorce date in Cincinnati, October 6, 1927. Remus has a flunky drive him. They chase down Imogene's car, which they've been looking out for, run it off the road in Eden Park. He runs to the car. Imogene's daughter is there and hears him saying, I'll fix her, I'll fix her. He drags her out of the car, pulls her to the gazebo here in this park, puts a gun to her abdomen and shoots.
Whoa.
And then goes and hitches a ride with that guy who's the Studebaker
that takes
salesman.
us back.
We've gone full circle.
Wow. Here's the thing. As we see in so many of our stories, everyone is a bad person here.
I love it. It's so good.
It's like you want to be like, wow, he shot his wife, but she was really a piece of work.
As Jake Gittes says, I'm the leper with the most fingers,
100%.
So
what about Dodge? Okay. So she's dead.
Yeah.
Does she ever realize that he's scamming her?
She dies thinking she was loved.
Well,
that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Dodge is in mortal terror for his life. And in fact is drawing attention from unexpected places. None less than Fiorello LaGuardia, future mayor of New York, he's then a congressman, denounces Dodge in the House of Representatives as the sort of corrupt prohibition agent that Prohibition is creating, and saying we have to get rid of Prohibition. This is who it's empowering, right? So he's getting a lot of heat. He goes to prison a few years later for perjury, in fact, right? So he gets sidelined.
He's getting a little too big,
right? But our boy Remus, right? He's in the dock here. And he says some things in the police station that are, I would call, I'm not a lawyer, I would call incriminating.
Well, so hold on.
Please.
He shoots her, kills her, and then goes to the cops right away?
Turns himself in. And he said,
okay.
And the cop says, so you accomplished what you set out to do? And Remus asks, is she dead? And they go, yeah, what do you have to say about that? And here's what he says. And again, this is a death penalty case, which is his favorite type. Remus says, quote, she who dances down the primrose path must die on the primrose path. I'm happy. This is the first peace of mind I've had in 2 years. It was principle, of course. You think I'm going to let Dodge get away with this sort of thing forever? I'm a man of principle. I never smoked, drank, or swore in my life. I cannot stand this sort of thing this man and Mrs. Remus have been carrying on.
Now he has a moral high ground. He's like done every horrible thing. And by the way, he's a cheater. But suddenly...
He never cursed.
And I like, why didn't he kill Dodge? Because Dodge was in jail?
He was hoping they would be together when he caught up to them. But, 50%, one out of two.
It's kind of amazing that he just admits to it. Like, he does not give a shit.
Well, this is setting up the performance of a lifetime, which is
him on the stand.
George Remus's trial. Oh, who's going to defend him? Himself. So,
I mean, in any other case, you're like, that's stupid, but you're like, he's pretty good at it.
This is
his dream, actually.
I have to imagine if you're a lawyer arguing for yourself so you don't get executed.
This is so Shakespearean almost.
This is for all the marbles. Okay? And I love it. He starts talking like LeBron James, to the press. He's talking about himself in the third person. Like, if George Remus loses his case, George Remus will go down to dust. He will not flinch. If George Remus wins, prison walls will never know him again.
It's kind of Kanye-esque.
It is a little like that. And the best part is the prosecutor who's going to be facing him is a guy named Charles Phelps Taft II.
Oh.
Who is that, you ask? A scion of the most powerful political family in Ohio, the Taft family, to which President William Howard Taft belonged, past president, Supreme Court Chief Justice. So the stakes are as high as they can be.
Oh boy.
And
this is really
it's the court
a play.
Oh yeah. It's the courtroom drama that's really got us here. And
God, I wish they had court TV of this.
Court radio, court old-timey radio, maybe. So what he's going to do is he's going to defend himself in court using the transitory insanity defense, the one that he pioneered. That they drove him so crazy, robbing him blind of his corrupt bootlegging empire, that he just snapped one day.
I could be wrong, though, but his confession does show that he knew right from wrong. So he's not.
And that's why the prosecutors say he's sane. What are you talking about?
He went and confessed.
Right. So, but he puts on quite a show, obviously. Does a great job. And he's acquitted.
No.
He's not quite acquitted. He's found guilty.
He confessed to it.
I know, but he's temporarily insane. And
is this the most charming man
there's something about him that gets through. And he says to the jury, I thank you. Quote, Julius Caesar had his Marcus Aurelius Antonius to defend him. I have had only myself to combat the machine of the prosecuting attorneys, of which there are 7, including the son of William Howard Taft. So he's boasting on him.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the little guy.
I'm the little guy who did
I'm the underdog.
And he wins the on this argument of transitory insanity, and then he does something, the piece de resistance. Okay, he gets locked up in a mental institution, and then he starts his new battle, which is saying, "I'm not insane." And
actually,
the prosecutors said I wasn't insane, so go talk to them because they will testify for me. And 3 psychologists they brought out testified I'm not insane. So let me out of here. And it works.
This guy, I mean, we have to give him his flowers.
I mean, crazy.
It's really hard to get yourself out of a mental institution.
He's only in there for a few months.
Wow.
He's out. He lives quietly till he dies, 1950. Moves to northern Kentucky, Covington, Kentucky, the Bourbon Trail. A lot of friends there still. Dies peacefully. Marries a 3rd time to his longtime loyal secretary. But all that's to say,
of course.
Yeah, Blanche, she's in the background the whole time.
She's in the background filing papers.
Yep. Just doing this, taking a letter, all this. I look at all this and I think about the total failure of Prohibition, right? And it has resonance for today, right? For the drug war that we have today, right? There's always going to be a guy building the 11-foot ladder to jump over the 10-foot fence, And they corrupted everyone as high as they could go, right? They went to the White House for this, right? And he was selling liquor to these, high society guys for whom liquor never became illegal. I mean, it was a joke.
That's so real.
Right? Like Congress kept drinking all throughout Prohibition. They were buying liquor directly from George Remus. It reminds me, the same way abortion is always...
I was going to say, they're going to keep getting abortions. Let's just be clear.
If you're rich and you're a Republican, you're going to be able to get an abortion. It doesn't matter what state, Not a problem. It's just going to be poor people who die from it, right? It's going to be poor people who die from the rock gut liquor. The good stuff is going to all these guys. It's a big fucking joke to them, right? And also, this kingpin strategy, which we still have today, the kingpin strategy going after the boss of these crime organizations. People say that's going to put away crime. It's going to foster...
There's everyone under him. I mean, the infrastructure that Remus created, I'm sure still existed.
Look who came after him. Al Capone, Luciano, the 5 families in New York, the mafia. They were much more violent and worse, than him. It was, once this polite alternative of bootlegging was gone, it was just more conflict, in fact.
Sort of a quaint story.
Well, and we've seen this in Mexico, right? They capture a big guy, they send him to a U.S. court, and then what happens? Violence goes up.
Yep.
Because everyone's scrambling over control.
It's so
now.
real. And the folly here is like, there was never going to be enough for him and Imogene.
Right.
Like no matter what they got, they would just keep wanting more and more and get more and more proud and boastful.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of depressing.
It reminds me of another, I think we should wrap with this. Another great historical figure in Cincinnati political history and of really emotional self-care. Speaking, of course, about Jerry Springer.
Oh, yeah. Another king.
Another king, yeah. Jerry was mayor of Cincinnati. But he also you'd have these episodes, with these crazy shirtless people fighting and all
Yeah.
that. But then he would do something I thought was really nice. He'd do a final thought into the camera where he'd say, "Good luck to you in the decisions you make. I hope you find happiness." He would always say that, which I think I like that.
Yeah.
So if you'll indulge me, and I would like notes on this.
Sure.
I'm going to try to do a final thought for the story of George Remus. Pretend George Remus, Imogene, Franklin, they've all been here on the Jerry Springer Show. And just...
Who am I?
You're Steve, the bald security guard.
Oh, I love that guy.
Remember that guy?
Okay.
All right. When a relationship ends in betrayal, it's certainly understandable to feel pain, to feel resentful, even to want revenge. Some of that is their responsibility and of their Prohibition agent boyfriend. So why do we make ourselves so much sicker, trying to make them feel as hurt as we do? There's no worse pain than wondering what might have been before your lover tried to hire a hitman to kill you or sold off all of your liquor, along with their politically connected, wealthy, corrupt boyfriend who you thought you could bribe. But the only beating that can undo the damage your lover did to you is the beating of your heart.
Wow.
Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.